Orville and Wilbur Wright were the first people to fly a manned and powered airplane back in 1903 near Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Many people before them had been trying to figure out how to fly, but no one else had succeeded because they were attempting to make planes that were very stable and easy to control. These earlier planes were designed to keep flying and just needed the pilot to steer, as if navigating a ship. The Wright brothers spent time watching how birds fly, lying on their backs out on the sand dunes near Kitty Hawk, watching the buzzards wheel around up in the sky. They noticed that the birds swooped and turned by constantly adjusting themselves, reacting to the wind, doing things like changing the shape of their wings to induce a bank maneuver in a given direction. The key thing they discovered by watching the birds was that stable flight requires active control. Previous aircraft designs that had attempted to enable passive stability had failed because flight is inherently dynamic. The Wright brothers designed their airplane not to be particularly stable, but it gave the pilot much more control through things like adjustable wings. They'll let the pilot fly just like a bird. These adjustable wings and other controls that they were the early forerunners of modern control surfaces like ailerons. The sacrifice of stability in exchange for greater control is what made the first flight successful. Once the Wright brothers were in the air, however, they found that controlling the aircraft they'd built and navigating in flight, these were really complicated tasks to do together and required the pilot to be simultaneously keeping the aircraft level while maintaining a particular heading and keeping an eye on the ground to know where they were on the map. The Wright brothers and other folks struggled with how to make flying less complicated, and just about 10 years later, in 1912, Elmer Sperry invented the very first autopilot, known as the mechanical mic, which was basically a device with a couple of gyroscopes inside that allowed for monitoring the heading and pitch of the aircraft in order to automatically stay on a level and stable trajectory. Airplanes were not yet completely autonomous, but as you can already see, more than 100 years ago, we'd begun building semi-autonomous flying machines. The past century has seen dramatic improvements to autopilot technology, and now commercial aircraft routinely fly for hours at a time in fully autonomous autopilot mode. And the military flies planes with no pilot on board at all.